Last team here, the St. Louis Blues. Oh, man, this has gone sideways for them. 81 points last year, 6th in the Central, 23rd out of 32 teams. Last time in the playoffs was 2022. They lost in the second round to eventual champion Colorado, 4-2. Merle's 80-1 to win the Cup this year. Holy smokes. They brought in our pal Kevin Hayes and Oscar Sundquist. So long to Tyler Pitlick, Josh Lievel, Logan Brown, Thomas Grice. Very little cap space, but this team, it just seemed to all fall apart so quick. They won the Cup back in 2019. Last year, GM Doug Armstrong stood by Craig Berube, said, no, we're going to tough it out, and it didn't happen. So they started selling off, but what's the future for this team, St. Louis? Are they going to bottom out? Are they going to I don't know, tread water? What's the deal here?
Well, I always go back to them not re-signing Alex Pietrangelo. And them trying to maybe spread out that defense squad when they ended up picking up Falk and Krug, right? That's where they snapped the money around the back end. And I just don't think it's worked out. Krug's had a hard time staying healthy. I believe he's injured. He injured himself in the offseason again. I think that with the playoff run Parenko had, they felt that they could move on from Pietrangelo, and I don't think he's ever really stepped up to be that number one defenseman. I think that on a team where he can hide a little bit, he could be a 3 on most teams, but I just don't think that the production and the quality of play they're getting from their back end matches the names that are there, right? You look down the list. I mean, you got Leddy, you got Falk, you got Bertuzzo. Like, some of these guys were there when they won the Cup, and I just don't think that they're good enough to help this team make playoffs. Binnington's regular seasons have been awful. You go back to the hardest series that Colorado played when they ended up going on that Cup run was against St. Louis. And when I feel like the chips are on the table and it's a big money game, Binnington's able to get up, but he hasn't been able to find his regular season game ever since signing that 6x6. So it's going to heavily depend on how his play is this upcoming year, if he can get his mind in the right place. As far as their forwards are concerned, what are you going to get from Kyrou and Robert Thomas? We keep talking about sometimes these younger guys getting handed these contracts, and the skill level is there. The commitment to playing on the defensive side of the puck is not where Berube wants it. He called them out in the media so much last year in that regard, where I don't know what the connection is between Berube and their 2-star players, where we know that these guys are locked in and they ain't going anywhere. So how is that relationship going to proceed? They do have the leadership in place up front, though, with a guy like Braden Shen and some of these older guys like Kevin Hayes that they brought in, but they're really going to have to gel as a group, as a forward group, because they have a lot of these older guys there that seem to be on their back nine, where it's going to be hard to compete in the Western Conference. Like, I don't know what you're getting from Brandon Saad. The guy's already won his 2 cups. I mean, yeah, he gets you 20 goals every year, but as far as a compete level, what are you getting from a second line player in him? So overall, I don't have them making playoffs. I do think that they have enough weapons, and if a lot of these older guys can rejuvenate and have career years, they could be a team. That would be my one sleeper team in that division who could maybe sneak in, aside from the other teams that I said are in limbo. They are definitely a team in limbo, and I don't know what direction they're heading. This could be a team halfway through the season who has a new coach, as Merle said, because these young guys aren't responding well to him, but very well could be a team that surprises you because of some of the names and the championship pedigree they do have in the lineup.
What?
I think that they could. Yeah, it depends on goaltending. It depends on those 2 forwards. But if they get some serious play out of Binnington, and then Thomas and Kyrou light it up, like Braden Shen, I love him as a captain. Hazy's going in there, say he's penciled in his 3rd-line center. I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily dead yet. I would like to get the news on Krug's injury. I know he hurt his foot. I don't know how long he's supposed to be out for. It is definitely the biggest question mark team for me. I guess I'll add Winnipeg a little bit in like terms like I don't know what to expect. I think they could be right there. They could be kind of brutal. But Binnington is the one thing. Like, is he gonna stop trying to fight other goalies constantly? Like, is he gonna kind of leave the shenanigans to the side and just focus solely on winning games and playing goaltender and just focusing on his game? Or is he gonna always kind of be that sideshow's not the right word, but kind of a sideshow, like always entertainment? That's kind of how he looks at it. But I don't think they're necessarily done yet. I think they love playing for Berube. I mean, Buchnevitz, that's another question mark. Buchnevitz, what if he lights it up? You've seen that guy have some serious runs of 10-game spans where he's playing high-level hockey, and then it's just smell you later for 5 games. And then he picks it up again, and then it's smell you later. So very inconsistent, but I like their D. I do, depending on Krug's health, but it's a question mark team for me. I don't have them getting in the playoffs, but if they start off hot and they get some mojo, I could certainly change my tune, which I've been known to do.
Torrey Krug is expected to play in Monday night's preseason game. He is back from his
Nice.
fractured foot injury.
He's back
Good for him.
already?
He's
Holy
back,
fuck.
yeah.
Is he be getting
Good
the
for him.
injections? Okay, here we go.
What about Verana, too? Jacob Verana last year had 14 points in 20 games for them. He's got the first round pick 10 years ago. What if he finds something there?
Contract
So a bunch
too.
of question marks.
What do you got for us, Burles?
Yeah, a lot of my stuff was Bennington, and like Berube got sick of the antics last year. I remember him calling him out.
He did.
Yeah, they called up that goalie last year, Joel Hofer, at the end of the year. He looked pretty good. Maybe he ends up getting some more games if Bennington keeps this act up. I just, out of respect for Hazy, I put him above the Yotes, but after hearing Biz talk about the Yotes, I wish I moved them below. I don't see good things happening in the St. Louis this spring or at all. I don't see him in the playoffs at all in the spring.
And 4 of those defensemen, Falk, Krug, Parayko, and Leddy, they all have at least 3 years left on those deals, and they're all 30 or older. So keep an eye on that as far as trades. Let me go back to you, Whit. Do you think if they're out of it late, is Craig Berube's job in danger at all this year if they shit the bed? I mean, I know they stood by him last year, but if it happens again, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily think that it would be on him, but if you struggle like this, like they did last year, and then it continues after making different moves like they did, and they're still not even near the playoffs and not having a good season, you got to think the coach could be gone. That's how this league works.
I think I said it last year. He won't ever get fired because you can't have a meeting with that guy. Imagine having a meeting with him, tell him he's gassed. Kill you.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like a franchise at a crossroads. Bennington had his career worst numbers last year, 3.31 goals against, 8.94 save percentage. But if he turns it on, looks like he did back in 2019, then yeah, they could be in the hunt. So